My name is Karina, and in this video I will show you how to make a little pouch for lavender like this one, with and without a zipper. This is a question that I got from one of you guys, so I'm coming to you right now to show you how to make this lavender pouch. And if you want a sneak peek, this is the one without a zipper, and this one is with the zipper. So if you want to see me make a couple of these and maybe get some ideas on how you can make it even better than I did, this was first trial and I made a lot of mistakes, but hopefully you can learn a bit from it. And yeah, this is a gift from my grandmother, but it is very neat. It has a zipper in the back so that you can open up if you want to put in new lavender. Yeah, so you can reuse it, which is very nice. And it has this embroidery on it. Of course you don't need an embroidery. This is to keep the wool from any insects of any sorts. They don't like the smell of lavender. I really like it. I'm allergic to perfume, so and I also react on essential oils, but I don't react on this. So it is very nice. You just stop it in between all of your hand knits, sweaters or other garments, and then yeah, this whole drawer is smelling of lavender, and it keeps away the moths and who else wants to go into my stuff. I have not had any problems so far, but yeah, I want to make some more of these because I want them in all of our drawers. I think it is not only nice to the wall, it is also a very nice odor than when you are opening your sweater drawers, especially wool that you will not wash very often, that it still smells fresh. So yes, let's get on with it. So I have some linen. I would guess that you could use cotton as well, but I'm afraid it will be too tightly knit. It has to be a little bit loosely knit so that they will get as much odor out as possible. And yeah, sorry, not knit, woven. So it has to be loose enough and breathable. You cannot use some synthetic materials because the odor will not be able to get out. So it has to be breathable, natural fibers that you use. Okay, so I will be using, of course, something to measure with. I'm just using a ruler today, and then a marker of some sort, preferably something that doesn't matter too much. You can get some that is that will wash off. That is of course better. I couldn't find mine right now. A zipper is optional, but of course if you're not using a zipper you will not be able to use it again, and you will have to fill it before sewing it closed. I will be making one with a zipper and one without, so you can tell the difference. And a scissor, then of course some fabric and a sewing machine, or you can sew it by hand. That is completely fine too. It's not supposed to be a masterpiece, so we will just try to look at this little fella, and you can tell already that it has this double seam of some sort. Okay. So I don't know exactly how they made this, but I'm going to do it 14 by 14 centimeters. I will write it on the screen what that is in inches. But just whatever you want. And you can, of course, if you have a specific zipper, make it so that it fits with that one. This is a 12 centimeters zipper, and that is why I prefer to do it the way that I'm going to right now, among other things. But let's get on with this. So the first one will be without a zipper, and the measurements, of course, doesn't really matter that much to zipper this to one without a zipper, but I don't want it to be too big, and I don't want it to be too small either. So 14 by 14 centimeters. That is it. I hope you can tell it. I have chosen to draw it on the top just to make sure it didn't go through, and I folded it in half so that I can actually not sew this part. So if you are going to sew it like this one is sewn, you would put in the zipper here between these two, and then just fold it a little bit like this, and sew the sides, and then an extra seam. Okay, but we are not going to do that. I will show you a different way to do it, because I think I would prefer that. So I will just be using this as a measurement, since I don't want to draw it up one more time. Like this. So, and for this other one, I will just show you how to do it if you have two squares. This way you can also, if you prefer it, you can use two different kinds of fabric for the front and the back if you want to. You don't have to do that. So this one will be with the zipper, and since this is going to be with the zipper, maybe I should put some embroidery on it. So for the embroidery, you can of course embroider anything that you would like on it yourself, or if you, like me, is in a bit of a hurry because you have other projects, you can use these pre-made stickers. They are embroidered stickers that you will iron on, and I prefer to sew along the edges afterwards to make sure that they stay in place. But you can get these Of course you can get them wherever you're buying fabric, but you can also find them often in flea markets or secondhand shops and stuff like that. These is some that I have been gifted from a long time ago. I think they were my mom's or my grandmother's, I'm not sure, maybe my sister-in-law. But yeah, you can just play around with them and say if you want this one, then place it and iron it down, and then sew around the edges if you want it to be extra secure. It should be enough just to iron it down. It has this layer, it's like a glue or something that will stick to it, but I prefer to sew it down afterwards. The only reason that I'm using this is, as I said, I have these already, but I have other projects I want to finish, so I was actually thinking about this one. It's very cute with the birds, and it's not too big, so this one is way too big, as you can tell. So I will be going with this one. So after realizing that this zipper is actually a little bigger than I thought it would be, as you can tell, it will stick out of the sides, which was not the point. I have decided to cut out a piece here so that I will sew these two on this one, and then I will cut them in size so they fit with the top part. But I will be sewing them down like this, and then when I have flipped them, I will be able to sew it down again, and this way make it an invisible seam. And then when I will sew the edges together, I will be able to close off these ends so they will not get anything out here. So I ironed on this one, and it is actually sticking so well, so I don't want to sew on top of it. I also ironed on this one that is without a zipper. I kind of regret not having a zipper for this one, since it is very pretty, but now I have ironed it in a way so there will not be room for a zipper anyway. So I will just get sewing and then filling up these with lavender. For sewing this, I am using a thread that is closely matching. And I'm also going to change out the foot, if I can find it. Take this one aside. So there is a foot like this for zippers. So I'll place the fabric on top of this zipper and then just sew it down, just making sure that I am leaving enough room for the head of the zipper. That was the first part of it, and then I will do the same for the other side. Just have the one here, let's take the other, this. And making sure that I'm lining up these two fabrics. It's very important. Like that. And then sewing down on this side. Putting down the needle, lifting the foot, and opening up the center. Pieces here now. My camera just died, so I'm sorry I don't have a recording of this part, but I simply just folded it over and then I made a top stitch, removing the head when I was halfway, so I could get through. Yeah, it is not the prettiest seam, as you can tell, but it is not for a fancy project, so this is fine by me. And I'm not very big fan of zippers anyways, but I will be cutting this into size. I will sew it, and I'm thinking that I will try to do it with the zipper open, and flip it inside of that. Now sewn it together, and remember to keep this open. I will just trim the edges a little bit down, places where I can tell it is a bit bulky. Flip it inside out. So you could say that now it is finished if you would like that. But what I'm going to do is to make a top stitch, so it will be a little bit more secure. I will just start a bit up here. without any lavender. It is very flat, of course. It'll be exciting to see if it can actually hold the lavender. How do I do this best? And hey, if you have too much lavender, you can always use it for soap. Yeah, but I don't believe that the flowers will contain the scent when you are making a soap. But you will still have the little petals and the health benefits will be there. So anyways, I will be sewing this one. For this one, I will be sewing it wrong side together. And then I will be leaving a gap somewhere. I think I will leave one of the sides like this open. And then I will fill in the lavender. And then I will make the top stitch afterwards. I think that is the best way to do this. So follow along. So if you are going to do this, sew the 3 corners before closing the opening, because it is very hard to sew when there is lavender inside of it. But otherwise I would recommend doing the zipper, because you'll be able to reuse it again and again without any problem and any new addition to sewing, and you will be able to sew it finished before putting in the lavender. So I will be putting one of these in between my husband's sweaters. You may be able to recognize some of them if you have been following along. And And for the other one, I will put it in between my hand knits. And you might be thinking, but what about this one? What's wrong with that? Nothing is wrong with this one. It still smells a bit like lavender. I will refill this at one point, but for now I will just put it in the other drawer with hand knits. So it has one too. And don't you worry, this place is normally filled up by this guy. So I have 2 complete drawers with hand knits at this point. So I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know if you have a go at making little lavender pouches for your drawers. Have a very nice day and God bless you. Bye.